I hope you all can see that.
Yes, is this visible?
Yes.
Yes, okay, perfect. So, hi everyone. Before we get into the serious business of today, the actual masterclass, I'd love for us to start out with a little fun game. So, I know most of you are tuning in from different parts of the world, with a lot of you tuning in from Latin America. And for me, just like for you, I'm sure English was not your first language. So we're going to test how good you remember the English you were taught in nursery school, right? So I'll explain the rules of the game, and then hopefully you can all turn on your microphones and participate in it. So the name of the game is Shun. That's simple, just shun. And the aim is to name as many words ending with shun. For example, concentration, elimination, intuition. Hopefully I've not stolen some of the words you had started thinking about. So I will say one shun word, so concentration, and then I will call out the name of a person I see in the participants list, and then you're next, and you'll say your shun word and name another person. So the aim is to catch people off guard with the shun word. If it gets to you and you can't say a shun word, you're out of the game. So are you ready? Is everyone clear with the instructions?
Yes.
Okay.
All right, perfect. So I will start. Concentration, Martin.
Motivation.
Right, and then you name another person to go next.
Okay, Mariana.
Nation.
Right.
Erica.
Illumination. Pilar.
Introduction? Vinicius.
Oh, intimidation. Paula.
Production. Afonso.
Perfection. Luis Benitez.
Okay, instruction. And it goes to Gustavo Lima.
Asian. Philippe.
Expectation. I choose Regina.
Procrastination.
I love that one.
Martin.
Frustration. Name Jajan. Are you there, Jajan? Okay, Mateus. Mateus.
Innovation.
Innovation.
Ah, nice.
Name one, Mateus.
Have we named everyone?
No, Vivian is missing.
Tawan.
Tawan.
PlayStation.
Creation.
Vinicius. Oh, attention. Erica.
Addition.
Yes.
Gabriella.
Back to me. Okay, I think we'll end the game here. Good job on that, guys. You reminded me of a lot of words I had even forgot about. So great job with that. Usually when we play this game, a lot of people get stuck. So congratulations to you guys. Next, before I tell you about myself, I want to get to know you and some of you and why you're here, where you're from, and what you do. So if we could have a few brave people volunteer, or I'll shout some people out from the participants list. If you'd like to volunteer, tell us your name, where you're from, and what you do, and lastly, why you're here. So Erica, you passed it to me. I'm passing it back to you. Start us off, please.
Back to me.
Yes.
Okay. Ambition. Mariana.
Oh, sorry.
But we are we are to introduce ourselves, right?
Oh, sorry.
No worries.
Okay. What can I say? Well, hi everybody. My name is Erika. I'm from Mexico City, and I'm 18 years old.
Oh.
And I don't know what to say.
Why are you here?
I'm here because, well, I think that the entrepreneurs world is so amazing. And I want to get know a little bit more about this. So that's why I'm here.
Oh, that's amazing.
And I want to help people also. It's
yes.
something I really like.
Oh, wow. Then you're definitely in the right place. I'm sure this is a community of people who want to help more people and through entrepreneurship. So glad to have you here. You passed it on to Mariana, so let's get back to Mariana.
Okay.
Hi, I'm Mariana Bravo. I'm from Mexico City. I'm 18 years old. And I'm here because Erica told me about this course.
Yeah.
And we want to start making a change, not wait until the others do it.
Okay, wonderful. I'm glad to see that one person is bringing more people on board. So who else wants to volunteer? I can shout some people out as well. Pedro, are you there? Could
Yes,
you
yes,
introduce
I'm
yourself?
here.
Okay.
So yes, I'm Pedro. I'm 16 years old. I'm from Piracicaba, São Paulo. It is in Brazil. Yes. So and I'm here today because me and my colleagues we really were interested in getting to know a little better how the entrepreneur world how it works, and yeah, we're really curious people.
Oh, wow. That's the number one magic to being an entrepreneur is to staying curious. And you guys are doing it at 16. Usually, I speak to people all over the world, and the audiences I speak to are of old people. So people who are in their 30s and late 20s. And so it's so inspiring and energizing to see fellow young people also curious about entrepreneurship. So Pedro, do you want to shout out someone else to go and introduce themselves? We'll do two more and wrap it up.
Sure. Let me see here. Maybe Vivienne.
Vivienne, go ahead.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, I'm Vivienne Unique. I'm from Nigeria. I'm 19 years old, and I'm here because I've always wanted to learn more about entrepreneurship.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
Oh, wow. All right, thank you so much, Vivian. I'm glad to see a fellow African in here. It's nice to see the diversity of people. Vivian, do you want to shout someone else out, the last person to go on and introduce themselves?
Luis.
Okay. Are you there?
Yes, hello.
Hi.
I'm Luis. I'm from Mexico. I'm 22 years old. I am studying chemistry. And I am here because I really like to get more involved in the entrepreneurship world and to develop like this project that we have on mind.
Oh, wow. Welcome. It's nice to see that you're also studying something completely different that has nothing to do with entrepreneurship. But that's the thing, entrepreneurs are everywhere in science, in history, in every single field. You can make a positive difference. So it's really exciting to see that you're studying chemistry, but you're also interested in the world of business and innovation. So now that I know a little more about you, let me tell you about myself, right? So my name is Gabriella Kosoi. I'm the co-founder and CEO of a social enterprise known as Cool Kibanda. I started that 3 years ago, back when I was 16 years old. And I did it when I was in university with 2 of my classmates. And from that, I developed a love for entrepreneurship, and that has led me to pursue a master's in entrepreneurship, innovation, and management. That's what I'm doing currently here in the UK, but I'm originally from Kenya. And with all the work I've been doing in entrepreneurship back in Kenya, I became a global ambassador for meaningful business. So I'm an advocate for the sustainable development goals globally. And what we're trying to do is to combine people, profit, and purpose. And to top that off, I'm also a business strategy and entrepreneurship mentor at a Swedish consulting company. And yeah, I do that virtually. And it's amazing to see that I can make impact and mentor young people all across the world from my bedroom. So that's wonderful. And as Pilar mentioned in the introduction, if you joined the call earlier, I'm an international public speaker. So I travel to different countries and different organizations, and I share my story and create positive impact through public speaking. So that's a little about me and what I do now. But my story with entrepreneurship starts a lot earlier than this. So an unusual story. When I was in high school, my physics and maths teacher, he asked me to join a project, a competition called the Kenya Science and Engineering Fair. So back when I was in high school, I used to be good at chemistry, bio, and physics. I wish that was still the case. I forgot everything now, but back then I used to be great at it. And so I came up with an engineering project. And I used to be the shyest girl ever, but through that competition, I was able to learn how to use my voice and speak to people while I was in high school. And I ended up getting a winning project all the way to the national competition and winning the most innovative award. And that's when I knew that at a young age, I was 13 years old at the time, I could still make an impact, make a difference, and that I could have ideas to change the world. fast forward, I decided to join university to study business and IT. And when I was joining, I had still never heard of the word entrepreneurship in my whole life. Can you imagine, 15 years of age, I had never heard of the word entrepreneurship. But then I joined a global competition for entrepreneurship. And that's where I met Pilar, and it completely changed my life. And I always say that is the reason I am where I am today, that experience. And so for you guys, just this one program can transform your entire life. And so congratulations to you for being proactive and seeking opportunities. And fast forward to now, I get to share my story and encourage other young people to be entrepreneurs just like me. Now, I'm sure you're not here to hear about me and my story. You're probably here to learn about business modeling. So let's get into it. Just to start us off, I'd like to know, has any of you ever heard of the term business modeling? You can just turn on your microphone and shout out. Has anyone ever heard of business models? I won't ask you to define it. I just want to know.
Yes.
Yes, you have? Okay. Oh, okay. I can see in the chat. Oh, you guys are so sweet in the chat. Right. Okay. So I can see that some people have heard of the term, which is great, but the people who've not responded, I'm assuming it's because you've not heard of it. But I want to tell you that that's okay, because until I joined uni, I had never heard of the term. So you guys are getting ahead through this program. And so why am I sharing this picture of me when I was a lot skinnier and two of my classmates? These are the two people who I started my social enterprise with. And so throughout the whole process of business modeling and the international competition I mentioned earlier, where I met Pilar, these are the people who helped come up with the business model for what my business Cool Kibanda is today. And I want to give you a top tip before we even get into the business model, how to survive in business modeling and in entrepreneurship in general, is get a team around you. Get people who have different ideas and different perspectives. And so it's really great to hear that Erica is inviting her friends. And, you know, you guys, some of you guys joining this program already know each other. It means you have a network of support around you. So get people to help you out. Now let's get into the business model for real. So what is a business model? In the simplest terms, it's a plan that a company has to achieve its goals. So very simply put, you need a plan, and this plan is to achieve your goals. So there's a business on one side and then a goal on the other side. And in between is the plan, the business model. And it explains what you're going to do to achieve your goals. So for us in Cool Kibanda, what we're doing is we're providing modern climate smart market stalls to fruit and vegetable vendors in open air markets in Africa. So basically, instead of having, you know, supermarkets that we go to back home, we go to open air marketplaces that are made of wood, and we have vendors selling fruits and vegetables. So what are we doing as Cool Kibanda to solve this issue of traditional marketplaces? We're providing modern market stalls. And the next step in the business model is, with what are we doing this? So for us, we're doing this through manufacturing the market stalls. So we're transforming traditional marketplaces, that's our what, with what is by manufacturing modern market stalls. Right. And then the last step is how. So this talks about the resources you need, the partners you need. So our market stalls are made out of solar panels and solar fridges as well. So a part of our how is we partner with people who can supply us with these materials. And it's a never-ending cycle where it's always the what drives the with what, and the with what drives the how. I hope that makes sense. But to put it in even simpler terms, it just explains how a business captures, creates, and delivers value. So business in general, all enterprises are focused on value, where you capture the value and then you use that value that you've captured to create more value, and then that new value you've created, you deliver it to other people. So for instance, what we're doing here and now, you guys have come here, you've joined this series, this webinars to capture value. So you're learning all about business models. I'm sure you've learned in previous webinars about finances and customers and all that. So you're here and you're capturing this value, and this value you're going to take it and go back and work on your ideas and turn it into a business. So you're creating value yourself after capturing all the knowledge to start a business here on this masterclass. You go and you create your own value by implementing it. And then you deliver this value by delivering a product or a service to customers. And so it's a cycle. So every stage there's value being passed forward. Now, I'll break it down into the actual 3 parts, trying not to get too technical, but enough that you can understand what a business model really is. So the first part of a business model is everything it takes to make something, whether this is a product or a service. So for us, that's everything it takes to create a new market stall. And that involves the designing, the actual manufacturing, so building the market stall, and then this involves the people who build it, and so on and so forth. For you, it could be something completely different. I'll give an example of, let's say, Netflix, the company that gives us the series and movies and TV shows we watch. What does it take to make these TV shows? It takes the actors, it takes the production, the filming, the scripting, the editing, all of that is everything it takes to create value with Netflix. And the second part is everything it takes to sell that thing you've created. So whether you need to market this and advertise it to people, or you need to distribute your product to people. So for us at Cookie Bandit, it's taking the market stalls from the factory to the marketplaces where the vendors are. So that involves distribution and delivering, right? And the last part of a business model is how and what the customer pays. At the end of the day, we're in business to make money. You can make other things, like you can make impact, but in order for it to remain a business, to be sustainable, you must continue getting a source of revenue. So this includes what people pay and when they pay it, how they pay it to you. Do they use cash, mobile money? Do they pay every week, every day, every month, maybe? Now, I've spoken about the parts of a business model, but where are these business models in real life? So I'll give you examples of globally renowned companies, and I'm sure you'll be able to spot their business models once I break it down for you. So number one is YouTube. I'm sure almost everyone on this call all watches YouTube. And so I'm sure some of you wonder, how do they make money? So YouTube's business model is surrounding advertising. And what they do for this to be a business model is they get you to watch their content, and then they display for you an ad, you the viewer, and the company that pays YouTube to display its ad is the one that gets customers to go to it. So for instance, I'll open up YouTube and I'll be watching a video about, outfits to wear when you go to work. And I will see an ad pop up there that says places to get blazers in England, something like that. And so YouTube is paid by the blazer company to show that advert to me. Next is KFC. I'm feeling a bit hungry, so I had to include some food, some chicken. Their model is franchising, and what this means is they sell a recipe or a blueprint for starting a successful business to someone else. So KFC has its brand. Everyone, when they see the logo, they know KFC, they know about the quality of the chicken, they know about the enjoyable experience. And what KFC is doing is it's getting people to pay them to use the KFC name and set up shops called KFC all across the world under the name KFC, and then you pay to have that reputation of KFC, even though you did not start the KFC itself, if that makes sense. And then next we have LinkedIn, which is a professional social media platform, and their business model is freemium. And this includes someone giving you a free service, but then in order to get a VIP version of the service, you have to pay a little extra. And then last but not least, we have Netflix. I spoke about this before, but their model and how they make money, I'm sure you know this if you subscribe to Netflix. There's a subscription fee where you pay and you get access to all these movies and all these shows. Now that's all those other businesses. Let me tell you about Cool Kibanda and what our business model is and how we came up with it. So basically these right here on the screens on the sides are our market stalls, our Cool Kibandas. Kibanda is a Swahili word meaning a market stall, right? So our business model is we lease these market stalls to fruit and vegetable vendors. So they pay us on a daily basis, but for long-term periods. So the vendors will sign up to get a Cool Kibanda and they'll say, we want to have your Kibanda for a year. But because the vendors only make money from selling the fruits and vegetables on a daily basis, we allow them to pay daily. So that makes it a leasing. I know that can be a bit of a complex term, but that's all it means. I pay you every day for a service I'll be getting for a whole year. And the second type of business model we use is advertising. So just like YouTube, we have spaces and people get to advertise their products and services. And what I'm showing you by this is that you can have more than one business model in one business. So your idea and your product can have two different types of customers, two different types of business models that you can use. Now, I've spoken about how and what a business model is, but how, I'm sure you're wondering, how can I actually make one? And this here is a business model canvas that is a tool for creating a business model. So every single business in the world, whether that's the largest company in the world like Amazon, Coca-Cola, or the tiniest startup, like Kulkibanda, can be defined by these 9 steps. I'll make it quite simple and we'll go through it quite quickly, but at the end of it, you should be able to make your own business model simply. Now, there are 9 steps, but they can be categorized in 3 broad categories. The first one is we're grouping the partners with the resources and the activities. And this section right here is called feasibility. And what this means is you as a business owner ask yourself, can we be able to deliver this product or this service? So we at Kulkibanda had to ask ourselves, can we be able to deliver these market stalls? And that question is answered through these 3 sections of the partners, the resources, and the activities. And to my right is desirability. Next is desirability. And this has everything to do with your customers. Who are your customers? What do they like? What value can you add to them? How will you get to them? How will you keep your customers? And the last section is viability, all about the money. Can this work? Can this make money? How much money do we need to create this? And so I'll whiz through each of the individual sections, the 9 steps, and we'll be done with the canvas. So the first one, you'll see that the titles of these slides are very basic because in business school, we have been taught, try and explain every concept as if you were explaining to a 10-year-old child. And for me, I have a 10-year-old little sister, so I'll try and explain it as simply as I can. So who buys your stuff? That's your customer segment. So who are you targeting with your product? If you're selling, let's say a water bottle, who are you selling that water bottle to? Is it to rich people? Is it to young people? Is it to people from a certain country? That is who will buy your stuff. And let's say, for instance, this shirt, I'm sure they were targeting females or people who are working or people who like a certain type of, smart style. So you have to think about who will buy this idea that I'm coming up with, this business that I already have. And once you know that, you can answer the next, which is the value proposition. And that's, so what do I do? How do I solve this customer's problem? How can I help them? And this value proposition speaks all about your product or your service. So in the instance of Kulkibanda, we would be describing the market stall and how we're providing value to the vendors. So this is a really key part of your business model because it surrounds everything you as a company does and why you're unique and why we need you in the market and why no one else is doing the same thing as you. Once you know this, you have to figure out how to get what you're doing, the value you're creating, and how to take it to the customers. How will you transport it to them? Will you sell it online? Will you provide it in a shop? Will you provide services instead of a product? So how do you get the value you're offering to your customers? And then next is customer relationship, which is important for every single business. And that's how do you get the attention of your customers? In step 1, we identified who are your customers, and now we have to go on to say, how will you get their attention? How will you let them know that you're solving their problem? Are you going to post it on social media? Are you going to go and knock on everyone's doors and let them know about your product? So that's how to get attention. And next is how to make money. Pretty self-explanatory, but generally you may have a brilliant idea of how you're going to change the world, but you need to figure out how you can make this financially sensible. How can it make you money, right? And once you understand this, you'll have to figure out what are your key resources. So what are you going to use to produce your product or your service? If you're creating a water bottle, for instance, you need to know, where am I going to get the plastic, the raw materials? Who is going to make it? Will it be in a factory? Will it be handmade? So it's everything you need, whether that's the labor, the people, the money, the place, the building you'll need to produce your product or your service. If it's a service, let's say you're producing an online course, you would need a laptop, you'd need internet connection, you'd need the speakers for the course, the experts who will teach the course, so on and so forth. And next, who are your partners? Who will help you in a mission? In business, and especially if you're doing a social business that's making a positive impact in your community, you're going to need a lot of help. So your partners could be other organizations, it could be the government, just everyone who helps you to achieve your goals and your objectives can be considered a partner. And then next is your key activities. So we've figured out what you need to do and what you need to build, but how will you actually build it? And these are the key activities. So for instance, for Netflix, some of their activities are actually filming the videos and editing them to make them into movies and then marketing them to us. That's why they have all the trailers. So that is part of their key activities. And then next, the cost structure. We've spoken about how you will make money, but then in business, it takes money. You need money to make even more money. So how much is it going to cost you to produce your product or your service? And that's it, your business model complete. An explanation of any business under the sun in 9 easy steps. So I've given you the tool for how to make a business model. So that's the business model canvas. But let me give you a resource of where you can go to create your own business model. There's this amazing website called Strategyzer. If you go to www.strategyzer.com, you'll be able to get a canvas where you can input your own business model. So as you're going through your ideas and formulating your business, and some of you I know already have your MVP, you can input all the things we've mentioned. So who your customer is and how you're going to solve their problems and the value you're producing, all of that into one easy sheet that you can give to anyone if you can to explain your business and what you do. So after this, go and check out Strategyzer.com. You can do existing business models. So you can talk about a company that has already started, or you can design your own very new business model, and it's very simple. It has all the steps right there. That's business modeling in a nutshell. But I have some tips for you for starting a business and carrying out your business model. But this advice can be applied to every aspect of your life. It's one thing to, come and join this class and learn about business modeling, but it's a completely other thing to actually start and make your own business model. So until you actually start and take that extra step and go out there and make effort, all the things we talked about will just be words. So I'm encouraging you, once we're done here, go on and start now. Start where you are. It doesn't have to be perfect, but just start with what you have, whether you're in doubt, whether you're hesitating. Let me say hesitation, back to the shun game we had. Start whether you're doubting, and you know, it can be such a scary experience to start a business at such a young age, and you're not an expert at all, but start now and don't stop. And I promise you the results will be amazing, because that's exactly what I did. Starting university, I had no idea what entrepreneurship was, but once I started, I haven't stopped. But it takes a lot to first get onto that first step of starting. So I'm wishing you guys all the best as you start making your business models, but also building the businesses for the future, the businesses that are going to transform your communities, your countries, and even the entire world. So I didn't want to make the business modeling session too long. I want now for it to be a reversed classroom where you guys dictate the kind of things we'll talk about. And so I'll open it up for questions and answers about business modeling, about business in general, the life of an entrepreneur, anything, literally, ask away. I'll stop sharing, and once we're done with the Q&A, I'll go back to sharing my screen to wrap it up. So I'll hand it over to you guys to ask the questions.
I have a question, Gabriela.
Yes. Hi, lovely to see you.
Thanks. I'm sorry I didn't turn on my camera before I was doing something, but I was paying attention, okay?
No worries.
Okay, well, according to our revenue streams, do you like recommend making a business model to each of our revenue streams, or combining like all in our business model?
Okay.
Well, we had a session like an hour ago, and we were seeing our business model with Martin. And well, I was like checking up, and I think like there are some things that don't make like sense to me. And for example, if we have we want to develop an app for public transport.
Yes.
So our like main revenue stream, it's a freemium app, but also we want, yes, but we also want to offer like a consultancy service to the public transport enterprises. So like we process the mobility data and offer them like studies.
Wow.
But yes, it's cool. But like we can't validate like a lot right now. That, so like also my question would be like, what do you recommend us to do? We are developing the MVP, but like at this moment, like we had made interviews and things, but
yes,
like what do you recommend us to validate these different revenue streams? And I think that's all.
Okay, that's a great question, and I'm glad to see that you guys are actually making progress and going out there and speaking to people and testing your assumptions. So my advice for that would be, if you have two revenue streams, but that are targeting two different kinds of customers, that's when you split it into two different business models. But if both the revenue streams are targeting the same customer, keep it within the same business model. So from your explanation, it seems that you have two different types of customers. So with two different data models that you'll be collecting, different activities you'll have. So for you, I think it would make the most sense to have two different business models. So for us at Kulki Banda, I mentioned in the slides, it's okay to have 2 business models for one business. And that's what we did. We split it into 2. So one for the vendors and then one for the advertisers, because there are different activities, different partners for each of those customer segments and revenue streams. So, but for anyone else wondering who has 2 revenue streams but dedicated to one customer, keep that within the same business model canvas. But if it's 2 different customers, then split it into 2. I hope that answers your question, Regina.
Yes, perfect. So I will try this. Thanks, Gabriela.
Right. Great, you're welcome. Anyone else? Don't be shy. You can post it in the chat if you don't want to turn on your microphone.
I'm so shy.
I actually have a, okay, who?
No, go ahead, Pilar.
I actually have a question, Gabriela. How would you describe, or how would you differentiate the business model with an operating model of the business?
Yes. Okay, so the operating model is more about your day-to-day operations. It's more about what you're doing as an established business, what you'll be doing day-to-day. And I think it will be as a result of the key activities from the business model. So the operating model speaks about how you handle your human resources, or how you pay your staff, or how you go about actually running your business, the day-to-day operations. But the business model is more of an overview of everything encompassing your business. So from the customers to the partners to the finances, and that's the overview of how your business works. And then the operating model is the day-to-day operations and things you need to do on a daily basis in order for your business to work.
Okay, so like the business the business model would be like for the foundational stuff, right? For the foundational stage, and the operating for the day-to-day. But is it good for them to start thinking about the operations from this stage, like from an early stage, or they can change over the time?
Okay. So with the operations, I'd say it's good to think about it now, but don't go so much into the details, right? So for the operations, focus on them when you're filling out the key activities section of your business model canvas. This is where you'll include the day-to-day activities you'll need to be completing. So for instance, for Netflix, some of the key activities are writing scripts, filming them, getting actors. These are some of the day-to-day activities they need to do to run their business. But in the initial stages, don't go too much into the details and say, I'll be, filming this specific film on Monday at 5 p.m. Don't go that detailed, but start thinking about what are the activities and operations I need to carry out in order for me to run this business.
Okay. I have another question. Sorry, if you don't talk, I'm going to. Yes, I have a lot of questions here.
Yes.
What would you say it was your the most difficult thing to set up when you were doing your business model?
Oh, okay. So that's interesting. The part we found most difficult was going through the cost structure. When it comes to money, it gets really complicated because in the beginning, when you're talking about your customer segments and your value proposition, it's all fun and aspirational. but for the cost structure, you have to get into the details. And because our business is based on manufacturing, there were so many costs involved and getting different suppliers and comparing it. And so that was difficult. But once that's done and out the way, it makes it so much easier to now understand. So it takes this much money to build a cool kibanda or to run my business. So now I know how much money I need to make in order for this to be a sustainable business. So going into the revenue streams was so much easier once we figured out our cost structure.
And in that sense, did you ask, I don't know, like investors in the partnership thing? I mean, in this partnership.
Oh, okay.
Where did you get the money from?
Okay, so in the beginning, like many startups, we did something called bootstrapping. And bootstrapping means that you, together with your teammates and your network, you raise money together and you collect it and invest it into the business. And what this means is that once you yourselves as team members and your network and the people supporting you actually invest in the business, it's easy to convince investors from outside the business that this idea really works and that you really believe in it because you yourself put your own money into it and you convince your friends and your family to also contribute to it. And it doesn't have to be huge. The bootstrapping was just to create a minimum viable product to show that our business works. We've tested the assumptions, and from there we were able to get, outsiders to support us because they saw that we believed in our idea and our business ourselves.
Okay. So what you say is, so would you say everything that you put in the canvas is it's an assumption, or like everything?
Yes, I'd say in the beginning, especially people who are filling out the canvas when all they have is an idea, then everything is an assumption because you don't know, you've not started the business, you just have the idea. But until you go out and talk to your customers and talk to your partners and ask them, like, is this a real problem you're facing? Or for the partner side, are you able to support us in this way? Is this a project you believe in? Can you actually help us in the way we think you can help us? Until you go out and meet these people and ask these questions, all of these are assumptions that you're writing. But once you've gone out and validated these assumptions, that's what solidifies your actual business model.
Awesome. Okay, Luis, you can open your mic.
Yes, go ahead, Louis.
Hi. Well,
Hi.
First of all, thank you, Gabriella, for the presentation. I really like it.
Oh, my pleasure.
And the project or the idea that I am working on is based on a fair trade of textiles made by artisans with a client such as a designer. And I would like to know which model would fit the most.
Okay.
And how could I define revenue streams if what I consider are only sales to different clients?
Okay, so I'll start with the revenue stream part of the question. Are you the ones selling the art?
Sorry?
Are you the one selling directly, or are you just connecting the artisans?
Well, I think that we are connecting.
Okay, you're connecting. So maybe a model where you have people giving you a commission each time they sell their art through your platform, you get a certain percentage of the profit. That would be a great model to use. I think for your business, that the way I understand it is that because you're just an intermediary, what you can do is benefit from every time there's an exchange between the two parties, you get a share of the profit. Another way you could do it is through a subscription model where everyone who signs up, every artisan who signs up to your platform has to pay a fee, and with that you'll guarantee them access to a market where people will buy their products. So there are very many different ways that you can go about your business model and generate revenue. But the thing is, you need to test these assumptions with your customers and ask them, what would you prefer? How would this work best for you? Does that help?
Yes, a lot. Thank you very much.
Great, you're welcome. Anyone else with a question? Erica, go ahead.
Yeah. I'm not very sure what I'm going to ask, because I want to know if how can we increase our let me
Our revenue, I think.
Okay, well, Mariana and I were in the same team, so we're thinking how can we increase. We're going to sell a product, but we don't know how to get more. How can I say it?
Sales, revenue, money.
Yeah, revenues. How more
Revenues.
revenues, because we want to sell a product that is like a fashionable set for get like a GPS location, because security is so it's very difficult here in Mexico. So we want to help girls specifically.
Wow.
And we don't know how to increase our revenues, because well, it's only that you sell your product once and you're not going to sell more. It's not like you're going to have more revenues after that. So our question is, how can we increase our revenues if we're having a product like that it's so that we can just connect to an app?
Okay.
We aren't sure how to increase that.
Okay. So there are several ways you could go about increasing your revenue. The two major ways are, one, you could either increase your prices, or two, you could reduce your costs. So you can, by increasing your prices, you're obviously going to get more revenue per product sold, but by reducing your costs, you're making more of a profit if you still sell the product at the same price. So if you source for cheaper materials or source for cheaper distribution channels. But for you, since you said you're connecting it to an app, I think you can take full advantage of the app as a completely new product where you can use it as a platform for advertising. This app is going to be used by girls all across Mexico, right? And they want to feel safe. You can take advantage that they'll be using this every day as they're walking around, and use it as a platform for advertisers to pay you to have their adverts, girl products advertised on the app, and this can be a second revenue stream. So what this is, it's called a razor model, where most razors, when you're shaving your body, there's a razor, but companies like Gillette, they sell the arm of the razor and they sell the actual blades separately. So they'll sell the arm of the razor really cheap because they know you will still keep coming back for the little blades. So for you, you can sell your actual device cheaper because you know you will make more money from the app. Does that make sense, Erica and Mariana?
Yes,
Yeah.
thank you.
Thank
Thank
you
you
so
so much.
much.
You're welcome.
Yeah, that's actually good. I haven't heard it. Does anyone have any other question?
Anyone else? It doesn't necessarily have to be about the business model. It could be about another aspect of your business or life in general.
Life in general.
For example, Gabriela, when you said that you made bootstrapping, I don't know if it's the same as crowdfunding.
Okay, so crowdfunding is more like online and strangers who basically donate different parts to different parts of your business. But for bootstrapping, it's people who you know and you actually meet them face to face. So they have a similar goal, but they're not done in the same way. But I think crowdfunding is also a great way to go about it. There are so many people who have money and they don't know where to take it, and they're just looking for an opportunity to support young people who know how to use the money and put it into relevant places.
Yes, I know. It's because we are doing like our campaign of crowdfunding, and and I wanted to ask you, like, if you had some. I know that it has nothing to do like with what we are talking right now.
No worries.
Do you have like any advice in this process, like that we can copy from your bootstrapping? I don't know.
Yeah, my tip would be to don't sell the business, sell the story. So when you're crowdfunding, you want people to support you because of who you are and why you're doing what you're doing rather than what you're actually doing. So basically people will buy into your story more than they'll actually buy into your product. So have a good convincing story of why you started and why your team is so passionate about what you're doing and how this will change the life of people who need it the most. Don't tell them about the actual product so much. They don't care about the behind the scenes and how the business actually runs. They care about the impact you're making. So make it a story.
Perfect. Thanks, Gabriela.
You're welcome.
I have another question.
Yes.
Why would you say it's one of the most challenging aspects of for an early entrepreneur? From your experience.
Yes. I think it's really challenging, not just as an early entrepreneur, but also as a young entrepreneur, is getting people to support your mission and getting people to understand what you're actually doing. And because just not to discourage anyone, but it's a really common fact that most startups fail in their first few years. And I think it's because people don't have the support they require. But with programs like this that you're running, I think this is where young people can get the support they need. And I wish I had such a platform where every week we would speak about different types of enterprises and different parts of business. And I think this is changing the world basically, because young people get access to this entrepreneurship education, and it's wonderful. And so guys, keep attending these sessions. You'll learn so much. You'll avoid all the struggles that we had to go through because we didn't have access to such programs.
Thank you. It is actually good. But I mean, how can we, close that gap? Okay, they are already in a platform where they have access to these entrepreneurs, but how can we close it up? For example, to making it just only an idea to the next step, to the reality, right? Because sometimes it's like, as for example, Regina is saying, like, how can we move from the crowdfunding to actually have fun and do it, right?
Okay.
So I mean, in terms of them, like from their side, like how can they do better in order to do it like in the real life? And for my side, like I run these programs, like what is missing there?
Okay. That's a great question because you guys already have access to this platform. So, and you have all this information, you're getting access to all these experts speaking to you quite often. And I think what is missing from the entrepreneur's side is the action. So in order for an idea to turn into the business, you have to take action. I think people, so many people are so focused on getting the idea perfect and writing the perfect business model and making all the right moves. They go through this whole process of planning so much that they keep postponing the actual action. So until you go out there and use everything you're learning into a business model, into a real business, it will not work. All of this will just be words. Don't wait until your idea is perfect, until your model is perfect. And I think on your end, Pilar, is to encourage them to just start now and with what they have already. They don't have to keep planning for ages and ages and ages and trying to get the perfect business on paper. Go out there, start something, even if it's just with one customer or one neighborhood or just one sale. Once you start there, that's the steps to actually make a fully fledged business. But until, if you keep on waiting and waiting, it's never going to turn into an enterprise, and all the ideas you'll have had will mean nothing at all until you actually go out there and take action. So whether that is just making one sale to one person, that is what will separate you from just having an idea to having a business.
Okay. So I'm going to focus on the practice,
Yes, exactly. Do it practically.
Like the $1 challenge, no? Like Martin, he was. Have you done that before? The $1 challenge?
Martin?
Sorry, I can't find audio button. Yeah, in order to know what is happening with the business model and to get a precise idea, is just kind of a strategic in order to do more than planification things. It's another tools to planning and to work on the operational side of the work. But when a venture starts, it is necessary to conceive all the ideas to put together because it's a lot of confusion in order to get all ideas in the right manner, in the proper manner, and also with a lot of assumptions, as Pilar said. There's a lot of assumptions, so it is hard to begin a business with all this mess of ideas that may be wrong, that may be right, that may be it is useful, maybe isn't useful, and it's hard. So the great thing with Lean Business Canvas is put it all together in just one sheet, in just one place, and take care of this and this and this one because it's a risk, it's assumption, and maybe this one will be the better, the best, and try for another iterations, another iteration, another iteration. So that's the wonderful. I told earlier here to kids, all the guys here, that to me in my own enterprise it was the light turning on and on the ideas. And normally you use this tool to do everything within my business and new projects and to communicate my business idea with my partners, with the suppliers, with my own clients, even with the people in public relationships. What I say is, okay, this is my idea. Please took off what you need of this and put it on a paper, it on a message, put it on a message, put it on a publicity and so on, the advertising.
Yes. Wow, I think you're absolutely right. And that this is a tool that will help you escape all that tedious planning that makes you not implement. Because what's your excuse? It's one paper with 9 simple steps that explains everything about your business. And once you have this, go out, start testing and start implementing. And so I think this is such a useful tool, and Martin himself is evidence that this really works.
Yeah, it works. And also it don't let me cheat about myself. Okay,
yes.
it is something wrong. It is there. It is there. So even with we have a higher ideas or maybe not possible ideas, when we put it down, we say, okay, it is not possible. It is not feasible.
Yes.
So it's no matter if it's a lot of assumptions, but there will be a real assumptions because it is easy to know when an idea is exaggerated
yes
or a bunch of troubles.
You're absolutely right.
Yes.
So, go ahead, Pilar.
Yeah, okay, so anyone, if there's no more questions, like I think we can wrap it up here. You said that you were going to...
Oh, yes, I will share one more slide.
Yeah, you were going to share
your friend. Slide. Yes, I'd love to be your friend, Erica. Wow. Let me share my screen and you'll find out how we can be friends. Stay in touch with me. This is my last slide. Reach out to me on Instagram, on LinkedIn, Twitter, Facebook, anywhere. All my social media handles are at Gabriella Kosoi. I would love to keep in touch with you. Feel free to ask me any questions or just be my friend like Erica. I would love to continue what we've started here. So at Gabriella Kosoi on all social media platforms. And that is it for me.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Gloria. It's been a pleasure.
Yes.
I think they are shocked as I was when I first met you. You know, like you're really young and you have achieved so much things, like so many things, and then you are just moving forward. You know, like if you're not, you know, you don't stop. Because I think you also learn from some mistakes that you had in the process, right? The accelerator, for example. I'm hearing myself twice. So I I just want to say, like, first of all, like, I'm really, really happy to see you again. And then I'm really proud of what you've become. Like, I feel like a mom now. Like, but I mean, you're such an inspiring, you know, like person, a role model, which I would say, like, in terms of an entrepreneur, because you're actually showing them that it is possible to start from any time. No, you know, you don't need to be like a 20 something whatever. You started from 15, or you started even if you started at 50, but you need to start from somewhere, you know, like you need to start the point and validating your idea, you know. So thank you so much for coming. I think they learned a lot. They are saying that it was really useful and everything. Yes, and I'm sure you'll get more followers from after today. So thank you so much, Gabriela. I'm just gonna stay here with them for just internal announcements, but okay, you can. I mean, I hope you can be in our ninth session that is going to be the final pitch. I would love to have you. I don't know if you have time or something, just to see some of them pitching, you know, like everything that they learned. So it's going to be a final event. I'm going to send you the invitation, but I am sure that they will love to have you, you know, like.
Oh yes. I would love to listen to all their amazing ideas, and hopefully they can implement what they've learned today in their pitches.
Yes, I'm so excited, and if we can, I don't know, like if we can set a call afterwards with you. Okay, we can. I mean,
we can. All right.
Thank you so much. Any final advice you want to tell them?
Oh, no, just keep doing what you're doing, keep being curious, keep learning, and keep taking action. Just being here is an action already, so keep on taking more actions, and you know, that's how you're going to change the world, through action. And thank you so much, guys. You've been an amazing audience. I really enjoyed myself, and I look forward to keeping in touch with all of you.